Laurentol here. And, I've been having trouble finding a doctor for over a year. And it's been weird because I've been going to the same internal medicine doctor in Beverly Hills for a couple years now. And I realized I don't think he's ever sent me a medical bill. Like, he has my insurance. I guess maybe my insurance is paying for everything, which is really kind of strange. But then maybe it's just that, he's doing just what's covered by my insurance. So I've got all these tests and they're covered. Because he always says, we need to send you an email or something to verify the fact you had this appointment so we can charge your insurance. I'm like, okay, that kind of thing. But I only go to him once a year, typically, to get the blood tests and then to get like the medication I needed. But there's been a huge miscommunication because I finally get a copy of my medical bills, which I had to call multiple times to finally get a copy of my bills on my records. And I get them and I read them. And apparently he actually in the record said that he offered to give me thyroid medicine and actually wrote down the prescription. But from my memory of the meeting, he said, he told me you need to go on Levoxin because you might get cancer. I'm thinking, I know that. I need to find a thyroid doctor. You sent me to a thyroid doctor. He sent me to a thyroid doctor that wasn't on my insurance. And so I've been running around trying to find a thyroid doctor because I thought I had to go to a thyroid doctor. But if he could have given me the thyroid medicine, then I would have gone on thyroid medicine. But I don't think he could because he's not a thyroid doctor. Yeah. See, so frustrated. And I finally think I found a doctor. But I can't get an appointment with her for a month. And she's a specialist in rheumatology and also does a lot of autoimmune diseases and knows about the medication I'm on for my autoimmune diseases. I'm not sure though if she can also do the thyroid too. I think I'm going to go to her and then after going through her, also go to a thyroid doctor on top of that. So I do want to be on thyroid meds. I just don't want to be on thyroid meds that might have allergens in them. And because of all my allergies, I might have a problem with any thyroid medicine because even though a thyroid medicine might be vegan, it also might have gluten in it, which means it also might be infected with yeast. I've got a bunch of allergies, latex yeast. I've had a allergic reaction to a B vitamin because of my yeast allergy. So it's been really difficult and I keep getting sick. Like this weekend I had I get this pain right in here. And then I think it's a nasal infection of some kind, but it's really deep in my nose because I do neti pot. And eventually it does go away. But usually it goes away after I throw up, which is really unpleasant. But I've noticed that. I'll try to eat. I'll be hungry. I was hungry too. I was hungry all day yesterday and couldn't eat. When I finally did, I threw it up. But then after I threw it up, I felt great. I'm like, okay, well, that worked. Oddly enough, it's almost like my body needed to get something out that was bothering it. And once it did, it was like, okay, you're fine now. But yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy ride. So I'm hoping I'm running out of medication. I'm going to start getting brain fog. It's going to be more difficult for me to think. I just wish there was one doctor we went to and they were expert in everything, but I guess that's not how our system is. And then I tried to get a thyroid doctor at USC and this was weird. I gave them my most recent records, which unfortunately were a year ago, but they said he needs more records from me. I'm thinking, well, you need more records before you see me? Because normally you see the doctor and then you order the test and they look at the test and they tell you on the phone what you need to do for the tests. Well, in this case, she wants, I guess, my old doctor to do the tests and then send the tests to her. And maybe it's COVID, but I'm just completely confused about that. And we had a miscommunication. And then she's like, well, you do LDN. So they're not going to be my doctor now. And I'm like, can we make this just be simple? This is why I don't like doctors. I don't do contrary to popular demand, because I worked on Grey's Anatomy, popular opinion, I guess. I worked on Grey's Anatomy for 3 years ago. My mother was a nurse. My mother and I have never actually gotten along. She's a very religious woman who's also a nurse, so it's a weird combination. I always felt like her Bible came before science. I don't like medical shows because I don't feel like medical shows actually really show what really happens, because a lot of times there is no drama, there is no emotion, there's just a lot of miscommunication sometimes and frustration. Like, I don't think a lot of times doctors even know how to communicate with their patients. Some do, some don't. And it's like potluck if you get one who does. And I felt like this entire time I've had to be my own doctor, but it's been really frustrating. I'm actually underweight. And I look so good right now because of makeup on. That's my phone. Yeah, a lot of makeup on. Otherwise I would look like I'm dying because I have dark circles in my eyes, and you can kind of see them a little bit. Actually, this one's really, you can still see it. But yeah, so it's just been one day at a time. It's very frustrating, and I wish the FDA would start classifying autoimmune diseases as a separate category, looking at them separate, having specialists who actually specialize in autoimmune diseases, because a lot of times the autoimmune diseases have very similar treatments, regardless of whether or not it's Parkinson or lupus or something else. They all kind of seem to have a similar pattern where your autoimmune disease is attacking an organ, and it seems to be the same kind of things that affect it, the same kind of diet. I've noticed that, like, the disease, the autoimmune protocol diet is not just for Hashimoto's disease. Apparently, it's also for other autoimmune diseases. So yeah, this is my take on. I want the FDA and NIH to start classifying Hashimoto's disease instead of a thyroid disease as an autoimmune disease. Because even though supposedly if you remove the thyroid, the autoimmune disease is gone, I don't believe that. I don't think it is gone. I think it's still there. I just think it doesn't have a thyroid to attack anymore, which means I honestly believe that even if they took my thyroid, I would still have to stay on the same kind of diet because my digestion fell apart. And I don't think that taking the thyroid would fix that problem. I think that there's something else underlying that. So maybe I'm wrong. But because, I mean, if they do take the thyroid, then the thyroid can't send mixed up messages to my digestive system to mess it up to begin with. But I've also been terrified because what if I'm allergic to the medicine? So it's one of those things where I'm like, I need to have a doctor who's actually willing to listen and put me on low thyroid medication. And yeah, I've been talking 7 minutes about this. But I have a feeling there's a lot of women out there who are frustrated about this because autoimmune is 7 times. I actually posted in a group on Facebook. I got kicked out of a Facebook group by a guy for saying that women are affected 7 times more than men, and wanting to actually encourage women to start contacting NIH about focusing on these diseases more because they're ignored. And I don't think the men realize there are a certain number of men who have these diseases. But if we women actually got together and started talking to NIH and started talking to the FDA, all of us together as a unit, we might get something done rather than having men shut us down because we're focusing on the women. So basically, by preventing us women from getting the care, you're preventing yourself from possibly benefiting from the care that we get. Because if they discover the fact that there's a cure it's probably going to be more than likely from the women because there are more women than men. It's the X chromosome, according to some studies that actually increase the possibility of having an autoimmune disease. They affect 7 times more women than men. And I don't think it's ridiculous. I got kicked out of this group because I said that. Did you understand the fact that I was trying to benefit everyone by pointing out to the women that this is a huge problem and that it's being ignored because it affects more women than men? So basically, to the small minority of men who have autoimmune diseases, if you do not let us women speak out about it, you're going to not get help because the NIH and FDA are not going to care because the majority of us are women. And that's the problem. If you men shut us up about a disease that affects 7 times more of us than you don't reap the benefit of us reaching out and getting help. Because if we get help, you get help. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. If 50% of the population gets cancer, so everybody cares about that. Because majority of people with autoimmune disease are women, there's a problem with the patriarchy in this country where women are being ignored. And if you don't let us speak about this, you're not going to get the solution. So let us talk, let us speak, let us be focused on our problem so that we can help because by helping us, you're helping yourself in this regards, in my opinion. Don't shut us up if we point out the fact that there are more women being affected. Because maybe by all of us women coming together and being like, hey, we need help, maybe somebody will listen. All right.